Good morning, the Reds. It is Talking Reds from the Anfield Wrap, live from the centre of Liverpool. Gareth Roberts, Josh Sexton, reflecting on what Josh has termed to be an instant classic in Liverpool's European history. I mean, it was good. Let's have it straight. You know, the 6 times champions of Europe against the 7 times champions of Europe. It would have been nice if it was a later stage in the competition. But we got some jeopardy anyway in the game, in that, you know, Liverpool absolutely tonk them. First half should be out of sight. Mo doesn't convert a penalty, only his second miss in 19 from the spot. And then somehow, you know, they go in at half time 2-1 up, and it was like, oh, getting beat by AC Milan at half time again. We've been here before.
It was dead weird, wasn't it? We're not sort of used to lapses in concentration like that from this Liverpool side anymore. So it was strange. But as you rightly pointed out, Liverpool started the game so well, and the atmosphere as well at the start was just like unreal. It was so good to be back in Anfield and just like all the sort of hits of the Champions League. Now, like we were obviously on the like preview show under the lights, and you were talking about like the big circle, the ball in the middle, and all those things, and all the music and stuff. And like I go to a Champions League game like for the spectacle and to watch the Reds win, but like I'd never really consider those bits of it. But you'd really put them in like the forefront of my mind. So when I got in there, I was like, these are.
It's good because it makes it feel different. And you know, I'm no fan of UEFA, and I hate the way they sort of their control that they put on football, and the way they even like, you know, you can't have certain adverts around your own ground because your UEFA say you can't. And all that. I hate all that side of it, but you know, the theme tune and the ball on the pitch and all, I just think it's part of it now, and I quite like it. It's like it makes it feel different. You know, makes it. It's not a league game, is it? Do you know what I mean? I
do wish they play You Never Walk Alone after it though. I don't like singing You Never Walk Alone before the players come out. It's much better when they're all like when they've done the lineup and done all the music, then play it and like have them all run onto the pitch to it.
In terms of the performance, I thought, you know, obviously there are defensive lapses there, and people are pointing to Trent's positioning on both goals, but I said last night on the post-match pint, you know, for me, the lad's world-class going the other way, and, you know, the positives outweigh the negatives. There was a weird piece on ESPN last night that the author took a lot of stick for writing, and I can understand why, because, you know, Trent's forced the first goal, ended up going down as an own goal, but I think he started this season on fire, do you know what I mean? He looks world-class, he's bigger and stronger now than what he was. He's a huge asset to Liverpool Football Club, and sort of, if he makes a couple of mistakes here and there,
honestly, I'm surprised that you've just said there were naysayers, because I thought he was great last night. I thought he was great against Leeds, but it was really understated. Whereas I thought last night he almost grew in stature in terms of how the game shaped up, and I think Trent's been doing that for, you know, season upon season now, just growing and growing physically in stature, you know, in terms of his leadership. He's starting to lead by example a bit more. As you say, he sort of forces the first goal and that kind of thing, and like, look, his positioning is exactly what Klopp is asking him to do. His positioning, you can like pick holes in it all you want, but he's meant to be high up the pitch. He's meant to be in certain places on the pitch. Basically both of those goals for me come down to the lack of rhythm with the lads who are playing. There's a lack of rhythm between Gomez and Matip, who I thought were actually both individually great on the night, but together for those goals there's a few sort of question marks, and things just sort of fall apart. And also AC Milan were a really good team. Yeah, they were definitely a much better team than I expected them to be. The football for both goals is really good football, and leads to 2 really good goals as well. I
think the Reds clocked off a little bit. Like I think they put so much into, you know, the first 4. Like it was so in high intensity. Like, you know, I wrote something on our Facebook page last night as well, just saying that, you know, you wouldn't have got a game like that in front of plastic seats. You know, like it was a game very much fueled by the atmosphere. I thought the atmosphere was great. I thought the cop was really loud. You know, I got home last night and my ears were ringing from just being in the cop again, and you know, that was fantastic. And I thought the performance sort of had a knock-on effect to that, and you could see that people run themselves into the ground. And I just thought, I was watching it back before, and I just thought, you know, Fabinho and Trent look a little bit like they've got fuck all left, to be honest. Like they're running back, but they look a bit knackered. They look like they wanted to get in for half time on 40. You see Divock go down with cramp as well, and stuff like that, and you know, obviously hasn't been involved for a while. I thought he did well, by the way.
Yeah, he did.
And it's a lovely assist for Mo's goal, like.
Yeah, well, just on the sort of tiredness thing, I think like one of our biggest criticisms of Liverpool, and there's a lot of people who say at the Anfield Wrap as well, is that at times Liverpool maybe don't don't see his games enough and don't put the foot on the throat and that kind of thing, and that's because it's dead hard to do. And I think that game last night showed that it's dead hard to do.
Played well as well.
Exactly, but like you talk about the energy they've exerted there. That is them exerting energy to try and put the foot on the throat, to try and bury the game in the first half, to try and use the crowd's momentum there. But it shows that it's dead hard to do, and it will knock our lads out because they're still human beings on the pitch. And Divock Origi, I was so made up to see him starting, to be honest. Like, no matter what people want to say about Divock Origi and what criticism they want to give him, like, I'll always love him as a Liverpool player, and I want nothing more than him to start these games and score goals and come on and play well and that kind of thing. And look, he doesn't get his goal last night, but as you mentioned, he gets that lovely assist, and I thought it was great in general. It was just so energetic. He gave all the things that, old school Divock, if you can say that now, the Divock that we saw in the sort of early days under Klopp in that first season in the Europa League runs and that kind of thing. That was the Divock I think we saw a bit of last night, and I'd like to see more of that from him, to be honest. I'd like him to be getting more opportunities to do those kinds of things and appear on these big stages for Liverpool, because if you're worried about him starting those games last night, he's a lad who scored in Champions League finals. He's not going to be shirking at any occasion, is he?
Look, I think we've all ended up with a bit of a negative perception of him, myself included. I mean, it was sort of stuck in my head, that miss against Burnley and things like that, and he was hardly involved, was he, last season? And if he can sort of have a little bit of a second coming and be involved on the periphery, certainly until January. I mean, I thought Klopp's comments again did point to the fact they are actively trying to sell him. I don't think that's any secret, but
they also suggest that he's doing well in training as well, is the other thing, and that must be why he keeps getting in. It must be why Harvey Elliott started all the games that he did this season until his injuries, because obviously these lads are impressing behind closed doors, and that's the bit that none of us see, isn't it? That's why we're all sort of making it up, and we're all gobshites, really.
I thought as well on the Reds that they looked more balanced last night in that if you think about the Chelsea game, everything came down the right-hand side, whereas last night, Robertson was more involved. He was putting crosses in, he was having efforts on goal himself. He's teeing up Jota early doors. Divock had a chance, didn't he, early doors? Flashed that one across first 5 minutes or so. But yeah, I thought the balance was better. That's no. I'm not getting into Harvey Elliott in any way. I really enjoyed his games for Liverpool, but I felt the balance was good last night, and we were coming down both sides of the pitch. We looked maybe a little less predictable.
Yeah, and I know that we put that clip out of the Pink from the Chelsea game, I think it was, when Neil's talk about Harvey Elliott and the idea that Harvey Elliott shouldn't be Liverpool's best player on the pitch, but on that day he probably was Liverpool's best player on the pitch, and that for me it's not an issue for Harvey Elliott to fix. So if we're looking for somebody to have a go out for things in the first half of the season, then it's Jurgen Klopp for picking Harvey Elliott, it's Jurgen Klopp for picking the team. But as you say, I think that team just was a bit more balanced last night. I don't think by any means Liverpool have looked unbalanced as you sort of like not make out. You're obviously saying they were balanced for the first few games of the season. I thought they were last night and for the first few games of the season. But I think Naby just brings you something a bit different, doesn't he? He brings a bit of width for one. Against Chelsea in particular, I think it wasn't Chelsea. I'm getting all my games confused. I think it was Burnley. He's going really wide left, Naby, and that's something that maybe was lacking a bit against Chelsea when Jordan Henderson's playing on the left and Harvey Elliott's playing on the right. You need somebody who just goes out and plays with Robertson a bit there. You need someone who sort of plays in the triangles with him and Mane. And I think you saw more of that last night on both hand sides, really. I thought Trent looked a bit wider than maybe he was for the first few games of the season as well. And I think that sort of overall helps the balance if you're stretching these defences who are trying to play a bit compact. And I think Milan were for the first 40 minutes, weren't they? I think they were sort of trying to feel Liverpool out, but then we're like, well, fucking hell, this is what Liverpool could throw at you, and we're just trying to sort of keep it tight until they sort of sprung the counter-attack. But yeah, I take your point though.
Someone the other day was asking in the comments for sort of updates on my search for curry coca noodles, and I got a little treat, sort of, like in the middle of the game, really. Gary, one of my friends who I sit next to at the match, who've known for a long time, just turned to me and said, "Got a little treat for you, mate." I said, "Oh, why?" Pulled out a packet of curry coca.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, mid-match.
At the match?
At the match. He was like, "There you go, mate, take them home." I was like...
Were we winning at that point or were we losing?
I think we were winning at that point, but it was great. I mean, I was a bit disappointed that he never brought a kettle and like I couldn't make them there and then, but you know what I mean?
Did you not go down to the concourse at half time and say any hopes?
Put them on love for us there, sound. Let's get a few of the comments in that we've got. I asked Barry if he had any tea, and he didn't. He doesn't drink it, so he's obviously not that Barry. What have we got? Great 3-0 win. Well, that's what I saw, says SJP23 there. I like your style, mate.
There's a few people though who like went down early for obviously as everyone always does, goes down early at half time and missed all the goals. Like one of my mates went down to get the bevies in and missed all the goals, so he just came out and was going and was saying the same thing. Lovely 3-0 win for the Reds.
Yeah, I mean, and loads of people didn't see the that they got it in the back of the net at the start of the second half as well. I mean, it was flagged offside, obviously, but that was a little arse twitcher, that one. Like if they'd have gone to 3-1. 3-1? Yeah, 3-1. That would have been a bit grim, obviously. What else have we got? Fabinho. I mean, there's so many good performances last night and so many little stories from it. It's hard to sort of get them all into one show. I thought Curtis Jones looked lively when he come on. Yeah. I thought...
all the subs did well, really.
Yeah, Milner showing, all the football nous in the world, what you've come to expect from him. He takes the yellow, he takes the ball into the corner. All the good professional footballer stuff to see it out and get the result. But yeah, a shout here for Fabinho from Big KT, who says Fabinho is without doubt the best holding midfielder in the world. He stepped up again this season, outstanding. I would fully agree, love him myself, big fan of him, but he is having a little jog there on one of the goals. So there's maybe something going on there. I mean, Klopp talked about that, didn't he, post-match, and he said, Fabinho, when we're organised and when we're solid and when we're together, can clean up pretty much anything. And he said, but the gap's got a bit too big for those goals.
I think he probably rests him on Saturday as well now, doesn't he? I think there's a couple of decisions he makes there with the team last night where he sort of gives himself that room to manoeuvre Saturday. So it's almost like if you look at the team that started against Leeds, he's going to rest two of them, but over the two games, and then see what he does against Norwich. I think that team could be quite mad.
John McLean says, I'm currently re-watching the game and Curtis Jones looks proper silky. Nobody can tell me he's not going to make it at Liverpool. I totally agree, mate. I think he's been tugging at the leash to get out there and get involved this season. He hasn't had his chance. You can see how frustrated he was in that friendly when he gets the kick in the head and he has to go off, and then Liverpool have to follow the concussion rules and all the rest of it. So he's had a bit of hard lines, and I think you see him now from here on in getting involved. I mean, he may well start against Norwich, which you're alluding to already, will likely be a mad line-up. Take your pick, who knows what that's going to be. But we have got Palace at the weekend, we've got Brentford, we've got Porto, we've got City coming up. We've got a load of games in a small space of time. So I 100% think you're going to see him getting involved. What else we got? People saying they'd like us to make more of our dominance. I get that. People were saying that after Leeds as well, me included, and that it should have been like a cricket score. Same again. But, I think you've got to sort of... I think you were saying before, you've got to take into consideration there's another team trying to stop you, basically.
And it's dead hard. They're dead good at football.
And we've got good forwards. We've got lads that are always in the goals season after season. I don't think there's too much to be worried about on that score. When does Konate get a game, says Big KT? I mean, it's just a matter of time, isn't it? During that spell that I've just talked about.
Norwich, I think, could be the one where
he'll get a game, won't he? The atmosphere was the best in years, says Nathan Davis. Yeah, really loud. It was really loud the last home game as well. So Rick says, back on the shoe chat, the lad next to me in the cop was wearing sliders. What's that about? I mean, yeah, he's...
bold for the match.
It is bold for the match, that. R.I.P. your toes. Robbie Richmond says, is Robbo on the Kiora or T? Both. I've polished off the Kiora and I've moved on to the T. Which Josh kindly made for me. People keep occasionally ask about the relationship with me and the Bills. I haven't got a fucking clue. It's just a big cup. And someone senses it very kindly, and I love it because it's big, and I like a big brew in the morning because you don't want like a little farty cup first thing in the morning, do you? So that's it. That's my relationship with the Bills. We got Curtis Jones has made it, says Peter there already. I mean, he'd probably want a bit more game time, I would say, before we're saying that. But yeah, I know what you mean. He's a professional footballer. He's getting paid to do it week in, week out. He has made it to an extent already. Patrick Boyle says, the big question is, when's this Chris podcast landing?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
It's mad how much you want to talk about food. I mean, I thrown in a bit of cocoa noodles already, and now you want to do crisps again. I took this back to the office, by the way, after that mad episode where we ended up talking about crisps, and everyone started talking about crisps. I think we did it on AFQ a little bit, didn't we? So for those of you that do subscribe, we did an office AFQ the other day, and there was lots of crisp chat in that. I'm proud of the fact that my late granddad worked for Golden Wonder. He made Ringos. So get on that. Do you remember them? You can still get them. Yeah. And pot noodles as well. Ringos and pot noodles, used to bring them home. It caused
some controversy, the off-safe queue, because Ash, who's one of our video lads, said that discos had no flavour. So I took him some discos the other day, and he still wasn't having them. My head's
still wasn't having it. I mean, we can do taste tests. We've done them before. Someone's on here who doesn't support Liverpool talking about our defence being outclassed in the first half. Mate, they hardly got a touch in the first half, so what the hell are you talking about here? Like Liverpool blew them away. All the stats show you that, and Liverpool should have been way out of sight. So I presume you're just doing a bit of trolling there, lad. But
we also won. So.
Yeah, we won. Ringo's blast from the past, says Peter. What else have we got? Come on. People are sleeping on Matip. He is unreal fit.
Agree.
Yeah. I mean, Peter makes a good point here about it being a hard group and it's a great result. Obviously, the other result was a draw. Yeah. But not only that, we've done no lols here at the fact that Man United got beat by Young Boys. Wow, that was absolutely hilarious. Like, I love moments where you've got to do other stuff in life, and I've got lots of other stuff to do in life. And I got in the car and I was driving back to be at home in time to watch. I watched Chelsea in the end. So I'm up against the clock to get back for that, and I was turning through the radio stations, and I get the back end of the United commentary, and I haven't looked. I don't know what the score is at that point. Then I heard they've had a man sent off, and then literally I'm in the car for the moment when they score at the end, when it was it Lingard give it away, didn't he? And the lad puts it in, and it was just one of them as I'm driving the car, beeping the horn, yeah! And I pulled into the garage to get some petty, and I saw, Cam, who we have on the shows, he was getting petty at the same time, and rolled the window down. I was like, lad, and he went, no, have you seen it? I was like, yeah! It was just this boss little moment of celebrating a rival falling down. Superb.
Have you seen the Gary Neville tweets as well? So he obviously does one during the game, which Carragher gets him for, and then he does a couple last night as well.
Have you seen Carragher's final?
The little Photoshop thing.
Like burst Gary Neville's face, just like all squashed up. I enjoyed that, quite funny. Also as well, what was there was another result, wasn't there? Oh, PSG. Spent all this money, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, lost to Bruges. Drew with Bruges.
Drew with Bruges. Everyone was saying it's going to be 9-0.
Yeah.
So it's all dead interesting, and already the odds have moved as well. Like, bizarrely, I think I said on Under the Lights, Liverpool and Manchester United were the same odds to win the Champions League. Liverpool's odds are now shorter than Man United, as they should be. I know, as they should be. There's no clip in today's Talking Reds, but we do, as ever, suggest that you go and get stuck into our subscriber stuff. There's loads of stuff post-match. So there's a post-match pint, which is our post-match video from the church in Anfield, and then there's a post-match podcast too. And I believe Neil has been delivering some of his Churchillian speeches about the mighty Reds. So you can catch that by downloading the app. You get some free tokens. You can have a go of our premium content that way. There's some little clips kicking about on social, so if you don't already, follow us on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. Someone's just sent us some dough here. ZAR 70. What currency are we working on there?
Z.
Is it?
South African rand.
It's South African rand. 350.
South Africans.
We're told there. Well, cheers, lid.
The runs.
Get some crisps with that.
Get the Ringos in.
Yeah. What else have we got? Sheriff had a good win too. Is right, Sheriff.
Did he put a comment, the fellow who donated?
Yeah, he says Fab and Hendo. So this is from Kairylin 13 Govender. Probably completely fucked that name up. Apologies. Fab and Hendo were nothing short of imperious last night. Go gadget legs. We're intercepting everything. Hendo was pressing harder than a Swedish massage. I mean, you know about them, it seems. Also, Bin the Manx and their Norwegian golem is right to all of that. That's absolute quality there. Someone was asking what's Mike Kearney like in real life, celeb life. For those that haven't seen this, he was both on the telly, but caught on a photograph basically it looks like Trent is celebrating right in front of him. Mike's celebrating, his cousin's celebrating. You've probably seen them before on social media with some of the wonderful stuff that the club did with him. And here he is again. And then Trent's done a tweet about him as well, saying, you know, it was nice to see a familiar face.
It's unreal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quality.
Friends with all the players.
I mean, you're asking what he's like in real life. He's a lovely fella. I'm sure if you've listened to the podcast, you already know that. But yeah, can confirm. Lovely fella, nice fella to go out for a pint with. Very funny. And lovely skin, according to himself. Velvety, he says.
But his cousin Steve's still the star of the show.
Yeah, yeah, his cousin Sand as well, to be fair. Someone has cap-lettered, Origi injured again, nothing new here.
Just cramp, wasn't it, I think?
Yeah, I think it was just cramp, wasn't it? Give the lad a break, come on. What else have we got? Someone says they don't care about Everton, which is, you know, pretty much the correct thing to do. Benson's crisps. Wow, they were shite. Come on. He's put, to be fair, Steve Chung has put Benson's crisps was simultaneously shit and amazing at the same time. No, they were shit. They were like 2p or something. The bag would look like someone had got like a primary school kid to design it. And the crisps were like, just crap. No like texture, no, just like eating cardboard.
I've never heard of them in my life.
They were shit, mate, honestly. Absolute swerve. Someone says Smith's there. Can't believe we're getting onto crisps again. Cheetos are a boss crisp, says Jay. Oh, we are. There's a footy question. What do you think of Mane so far this season?
I think he's been good. I think like people are taking that Leeds game as though that's sort of like red and Mane's missing all these chances. He scores a boss one against Burnley, doesn't he? Sort of on the breakaway. He still gets his goal against Leeds in the end too. I think he'll be absolutely fine. I think he's still plugging away as well, which is good to see.
I think he's a little bit in his own head, which is not a good place for him. I remember when he went through a bit of a weird patch and he missed a presentable chance against Everton, and he was sort of laughing to himself about it. And he was doing that again the other day. And I just think, he's not doing things with, naturally, if you like. He's not just trusting his own ability. I think he is overthinking things a little bit. But equally, he's a fella that'll just keep on going. As we saw at Leeds, 10 shots and then he eventually scores a goal. So we haven't seen his very best form for a while now, which is a little bit worrying, but I'm still backing him. Let's stay with him. Kettles, cheddar and jalapeno, if you know, you know. What crisps does Ali have?
As in the keeper? He loves cooking like big bits of beef and stuff on his barbecue, doesn't he? So maybe he's on the beef fellas. Maybe he's on the beef monster lunch.
Maybe. Or beef McCoy's.
Oh.
That's sweet, aren't they?
Stay on your breath for about a year.
Seabrook gets a shout from the Wolfman's
Classic.
Got Nards.
My nan used to always have Seabrook in, so I just class him as a nan crisp now.
I've no idea what some of these comments are about. Salah assist with loads of laughing faces. I mean, Salah is getting involved a lot more in the play, I would say, currently, by the way. I did notice this last night, and I was thinking about it, and that, after all this talk of him being a greedy player and all this kind of stuff, there was some stats at the weekend about, I think Trent had created 20-odd goals, 20-odd chances so far this season, the highest in the league. And the next down was Grealish and Salah.
Yeah.
So Salah's been teeing up his teammates.
It's always been bollocks, hasn't it? He always gets loads of assists season on season.
Yeah. Monster Munch, another shout there. Beef hula hoops.
They're hangover cure, aren't they?
Brannigan's mustard.
Hey.
Should we get off? We're just going to have to do talking crisp, I think, one day, just to see how you all think about that, because we talk about footy and then everyone starts talking about crisp. King Crisp, says Dave's LFC chat.
I think people are making half of these up.
I've never heard of them. That must be an Irish thing, lad. Send some to the office and we'll get stuck in, Dave. Yeah, that's been talking about. We're going to go and have a team meeting, get stuck into the Anfield Wrap stuff, theanfieldwrap.com, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, app, we're everywhere, other ads.